What's up guys, my name is Marc Steiner and today we are going to be talking about two big announcements, one from Nikon, one from Samsung, the Nikon D850 and the brand new Galaxy Note 8. So let's start with the Nikon D850. This camera is a beast of a camera. It's going to have 45.7 megapixels. It's an amazing high resolution camera and it has the speed to back it up as well. Base, it shoots at 7 frames per second at full resolution, and with an additional battery grip, you can get up to 9 frames a second on this camera, which is ridiculous for that amount of megapixels. You can also crop it down for a crop sensor or use less effective pixels and make the file sizes smaller and get more frame rates. But this is an amazing camera to have, and it has the autofocus system from the D5 and the D500, which means that you get 153 autofocus points all cross type, and those are going to be great for tracking people and motion. So that's going to be great. And one of the big things for me is that this is the first DSLR to be able to shoot full frame 4K. It can do it at 30 frames per second, 25 and 24, which is to be expected. You can shoot 120 frames in 1080p, and in 1080p you can also get focus peaking and zebras. Those features aren't available at 4K yet, which I think is a bit of a bummer, especially since Sony has been able to do this for so long now. But I think it's a great step in the right direction, and it's definitely beating some of the cameras from Canon that have come out, who seems to be really lagging behind in the industry. Some other improvements aside from the new sensor would be the tilty touchscreen, which is really helpful in a lot of situations. It's not a flip screen like the 60 Mark II, but it is something we've seen on the Sony cameras, and that can be very useful in certain circumstances. You can go high above crowds or low below for different landscape shots, and that's going to be helpful for a lot of people, and the touchscreen functionality is implemented in a way that's really helpful. You're also going to be able to shoot at 6 frames per second in silent mode and 3 frames per second in quiet mode. The reason why these are significantly slower than the 7 and 9 is because it's using the live view, which is not the most effective way to get your photos, especially if you're using a long telephoto lens. Those lenses can be really heavy, and to try and get a shot not focusing up in the viewfinder is kind of a deal breaker. The camera was rumored to have an EVF or like a hybrid EVF OVF, which would have been really cool to have in this kind of camera. But what we got was a traditional OVF, which is what we've come to expect with DSLRs. Overall, this camera is stacking up to be one of the best cameras on the market and one of the best all-round cameras. It can do almost anything. It can do sports, wildlife, portraits, weddings, landscapes. It has it all. And because of those different megapixel settings, you are able to do so much with it. You're not forced into shooting at 45.7 megapixels at all times, because those files are going to be so big. They're going to take time to write to the card, and then they're going to take so much time to load in Lightroom and Photoshop, and to edit files that big is a massive pain. But when you're allowed to shoot 25 megapixels, 20 megapixels, or 11 megapixels, it gives you that crop sensor as well, so you can zoom in without the loss of resolution, and it just gives you a lot of flexibility to work with all the different settings that the camera has to offer. So you're not put into a corner with these massive files. It's there when you need it and when you want it. Now onto the Galaxy Note 8. After last year's major problem with the Galaxy Note 7, we weren't sure if we were ever going to see another Note line, but we got it, and I'm so happy to hear that it is stacking up to be a great phone. We got a brand new screen, which is what we've come to expect from this current flagship lineup from Samsung. It's the infinity display, and it kind of looks like the phone of the future. It's what we've expected phablets to be looking like because of that screen and near bezel-less design, and it looks beautiful. It now has a brand new dual sensor camera, which competes directly with the iPhone 7 Plus, giving you an amazing portrait mode. And even though early tests are coming in, we're gonna have to do a lot more tests to see how well it stacks up against the iPhone and how much can be done with software pre and post taking the photo. You're also going to be getting a brand new Snapdragon chip, the 835, the most recent and fastest that the world has to offer right now. There have also been notable differences to the S Pen, which allows you to do a lot more now, and for people who like the Galaxy Note lineup, this is a huge selling point, because now you can do so much more with the S Pen. You can customize certain applications, and it becomes a wheel on the screen, so that really is gonna help productivity. Now the starting price for this phone is going to be probably around $1,000, which is really expensive, but is not unheard of, and from the rumors we're seeing about the next iPhone, that sounds about right. Alright guys, that's it for me. My name's been Marc Steiner, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Feel free to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Peace!